Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to welcome all our students. It's great to see this program so full. And thank you for the generosity of all the gifts you have brought, because I think everybody's really happy about it. And I would like to welcome to the team of Goya Foods, especially to Bob and me, Unanue. Welcome to Schiller International University. I'm a little bit tired because we've been staying in the building, so I have to breathe now. We are truly honored and thrilled to have the founders of Goya Foods with us today. Today is a very special day for us. We come together to celebrate not only the rich culinary heritage that Goya Foods represents, but also the enduring spirit of entrepreneurship, dedication, and passion that has driven this remarkable company to great heights. From its humble beginnings to its global prominence today, Goya Foods serves as an inspiration to aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself. And I know that a lot of you are going to be entrepreneurs, so please listen carefully because you're going to learn a lot about it. And they will demonstrate that with dedication and a commitment to quality, one can achieve remarkable success. As we listen to the founders of Goya Foods share their insights and experiences, I have no doubt that we will gain valuable lessons in entrepreneurship, leadership, and the importance of preserving cultural traditions through food. We have a lot of nationalities here, so the importance of food and the great heritage that we have there. Your presence here today in the heart of Madrid, it's a special touch to our university's commitment to fostering global understanding and collaboration. Today, we also are very fortunate to have our program lead from the Tampa campus, Genevieve Dobson. Thank you so much for moderating this roundtable. And once again, on behalf of Schiller International University and all our guests, we extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Bob and me, Unanue, and the rest of the Goya team. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining, all of you, and those that are still in the event. And we really wait for insights and stories that will have a lasting impression on our students. Thank you so much for coming, and welcome everyone.
At Goya, we're the experts in Hispanic cuisine. That's why we're dedicated to the preparation of the best ingredients to satisfy the taste of families that prefer the true flavors of Latin America and the Caribbean. Since 1936, we have worked tirelessly to meet the highest levels in quality and excellence. Goya, founded by Prudencio Unanue, a Spanish immigrant in America, is now a world-class operation with 22 manufacturing and distribution centers on both sides of the Atlantic, over 2,500 products, more than 4,000 employees, and sales that span the globe. Our sophisticated operations have been perfected over the past 9 decades to uphold our mission: deliver to consumers their favorite ingredients here and in their home countries. We are a company with an integrated approach to the manufacturing and distribution of food products, from our family to yours. It all begins with a rigorous selection of raw materials and a process of quality control that guarantees the great taste of each Goya product. Within the United States, our operations extend from coast to coast, with centers in Miami and Orlando, Florida, Houston, Texas, Secaucus, Jersey City, and Pedricktown in New Jersey, Chicago, Illinois, and in Los Angeles, California, among others. These centers are complemented by our manufacturing operations in Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Spain. Goya works with the most advanced technology in the food industry, from the production of bottles, cans, and lids, to the innovative process of manufacturing each product that bears our mark of excellence. From Spain, through our facilities in Seville and Madrid, we have also launched important centers for manufacturing, distribution, and exporting. These are key components in our approach to emerging markets in Australia, Asia, Africa, and the rest of Europe. No one understands the taste of consumers like Goya. and that has made us the worldwide leader in the Latin food market. Our sales and distribution team excel in building close relationships with our clients, enabling us to respond rapidly to the needs of diverse markets. For almost 90 years, our best calling card has been the trust that consumers have placed in us. Along with the excellence of our products, our warm, family-centered identity has been the cornerstone of our brand. Through a strategic marketing and advertising campaign, we craft messages in the traditional media as well as social media and other communication platforms that connect us with the Latin market and other food enthusiasts in the Americas, Europe, and Asia that seek the unique taste of Goya. We believe in the importance of social responsibility and support projects and initiatives through our programs Goya Cares and Goya Gives. Year after year, we keep growing, evolving, and investing in our future. We are a company focused on the phrase that has served as our inspiration. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
So good morning, everybody. I have gotten a little old, so I have to read what is written because, my memory's not there anymore. But welcome. I really appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate the welcome. This is really great as a special school for Dreamers Talk today. We have the honor of hosting a conversation with two remarkable individuals who have played a significant role in the American dream narrative. Please join me in welcoming Robert and William Unanue from the family founders of Goya. Founded in 1936 by Spanish immigrants, Prudencia Unanue and his wife Carolina, Goya Foods Inc. is the largest Hispanic-owned food company in the United States and the premier source for authentic Latin cuisine. Goya provides consumers with over 2,500 high-quality and affordable food products from the Caribbean, Mexico, Spain, Central America, and South America. Bob is the grandson of the founder, current CEO, and Bill is his son, general manager at Goya Europe. Today, we will delve into their inspiring journey, the challenges they face, and the invaluable lessons they have learned along the way. The story of Goya Foods is a testament to the power of perseverance, hard work, family, and the pursuit of dreams. I want to ask the students to please intervene at any time that you consider. Just raise your hands and I will hand the floor over to you. Bill and Bob, welcome to Schiller International University, and thank you for sharing the journey. So the first question, Bob, could you share with our students a little about your story in the early days of Goya Foods?
Well, thanks, Genevieve. It's just an honor to be here with all of you all, as we say in Texas, you all. It's each one of us that have been chosen. We've been chosen by God with purpose. With everything that happened with COVID, in a way, it took away our spirit and our reason to get up every day. But we have to have a reason to get up every day. And like my grandfather, I believe all of you, the word in Spanish is emprendedores. You're entrepreneurs. And you wake up every day with a goal and a purpose. And so that's pretty much what my grandfather did years ago. He left Spain. He was from northern Spain, Burgos, País Vasco, the Basque country. My grandmother from Galicia on my father's side. On my mother's side, we're Irish. So we have that beautiful blend. And he left Spain, born in 1886, in 1904 at 18 years old. So same age as most of you all. and his purpose at that time was survival. Like many of the people in Europe and around the globe, things weren't that easy. So he set sail on not him, he was driving on but on a vapor, a steamship, and headed to Puerto Rico. And he worked at many different things, but 18 years old, to embark on to go somewhere where you really didn't know what your future was, but you had that passion and purpose to succeed in life and to make a difference. And that's what he did. He met my grandmother in Puerto Rico, who's from Galicia, Calda de Reyes, above Portugal. And they married. He went to New York to study, to make a living. And he did so. And in 1936, he's 49 years old. And he's importing products from Spain for the Spanish community that's in the United States. Now, at that time, in 1936, there were the Spaniards, Mexican, of course, was there first, but very little communities, Latino communities in the country. Today, the United States is the second largest Latino country in the world. Behind Mexico with 120 million, US about 70, Colombia 52, or a lot of Colombians coming here. Spain 48. And in Spain, by the way, there's 5.5 million. It's grown as you get people coming in for economic reasons and political reasons. 5.5 million Latinos in Spain. After that, it's Venezuela with 32. Was 32. 7 or 8 million Venezuelans have left. I have a daughter-in-law who's from Venezuela. Have left Venezuela for, again, to find a better living, a better life. And so we have a lot of Venezuelans here. Many come with, like my uncle used to say, money is the most cowardly. The first thing sometimes that leaves a country is capital, money. And those who could have come to Spain. They've gone to Florida, Tampa, Western, well, the thing called Western Suela and Doral I'm near Houston, Katy, Texas. I would say Katy Suela. In other words, we travel and looking for, leaving behind what we consider to be a difficult situation to find new varieties. So my grandfather, in 1936, is for those historians out there, and I never really liked history, but now that I've become more historic, I'm starting to like it again. But it's the Spanish Civil War, so he's importing products from Spain. So that dries up, and he's offered 500 cases of sardines from Morocco with the Goya name on it. So he brings it in and sells it. He likes it does well. He likes the brand because it has a tie to Spain. Francisco Goya, the painter, which is right down the street at the Prado. And he says, I want to buy the brand. To the person that sold it to him, he said, your brand. Well, he said, let's make it official. And he bought it for $1. But a name, a brand, is a guarantee. It's a reputation. Just like each of us, we have a reputation, and so our name is important. And he, at the time, was an entrepreneur, an emprendedor. He wanted to sell his product and say that the product has a guarantee that it's good, that it has good quality. So he came up with a slogan: "Si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno." If it's Goya, it has to be good. I just saw him in the movie.
Fantastic. And that just leads us into the second question. So from a little shop in Manhattan, Goya Foods has grown into a remarkable success story with 4,000 employees, 2,500 products. What were some of the challenges, though, that you encountered along the way?
Well, it's never easy to do for a business. And by the way, I want to mention, we have Joe and Miguel here from the States. You've been here with the company for many years, and Elias and Martin here also from our Madrid facility. We have an incredible group of people, and the company is about people. We have, Billa's family is my son, one of 6 children, the oldest boy and a man, and but we are also a Goya family, La Familia Goya. And we also, as that family, we feel a connection, like the video was saying, for social, not the social responsibility, but being part of a community. As an immigrant community, you're displaced. And sometimes you're more, if you're Venezuelan, you're more Venezuelan in the United States, and you hang on to traditions. There's 3 things that we hang on to as immigrants, and that is language, music, and food. Thank goodness for food. But and the amount of cuisines are incredible. So, but so our vision and our goal is to be part of the community and bring food to the tables of our consumers. And this very diverse consumer base and very diverse food base. Challenges along the way have been many. But I started, I really shouldn't say this, but when I was 10 years old, my dad took me into our factory in Brooklyn. I worked a 40-hour week on the production line. And I got $20 for the week, 40, that's 50 cents an hour. I was overpaid. But I was on this production line for what I thought was hours was really minutes. And the day as a young person goes very quick. As an older person, it goes by, I'm very slow as a young person. As an older person goes by faster. But the work ethic, the reason, like I said before, you get up every day, you need a purpose. If you have nothing to do, if you're told, look, stay home, everything's going to be done for you, then you lose your essence. If you don't work for things, they don't have value. And so it's just been, I say challenges we've met, we just work hard. I've only worked half a day my whole life, just at least 12 hours, the day of 24, right? But, and raised an incredible family. And that's my purpose, God, family, work, and, working hard, and it gives you, again, purpose. So we've met all those challenges by working hard.
Fantastic. So there's many students here today that are, aspiring to achieve some version of the American dream as well. And what advice would you give them based on your experiences?
Work hard, have purpose, take risks. My grandfather left Spain at 18 years old for parts. Well, he knew where he was going, Puerto Rico, but he didn't really know anybody, didn't know what he was going to do. But have faith in yourself. And the other thing is, love your neighbor as yourself. We were just involved. I don't know if any of you have seen this movie. It's been out. We helped produce it, called The Sound of Freedom, and it's about trafficking of children. And this guy, Tim Ballard, this real life guy played by Jim Caviezel, who did The Passion. He goes into the jungles of Colombia to save a child. Not his child. It's not taking Liam Neeson and all that. It's someone else's child. And so to risk your life, if he had a family, 6 children, and he had a 50-50 chance of coming back. His wife said, look, you got to save this girl. He saved many children, you know, but so you stay there. You can't come back. Maybe she didn't like money. He does save the girl. And it's, but the point is, you know, we need to look beyond our selfies and look beyond to the other person, you know, be aware of, you know, your neighbor and have the same love and care for them. And I think that if you do that, you know, everything you do will be filled with, you know, like purpose and meaning. So that'd be my best.
So, Goya Europe, that started about 17 years ago. Can you share with us some of the strategies and results throughout?
Yeah, I guess that's the name. Hey, everyone, I moved here in 2010. So I'm just in 2010, didn't know anybody when I moved here. When I moved here, it was in the middle of the financial crisis. So it was the worldwide financial crisis. And if you were in Madrid at the time, it was like everywhere else, it was very time of struggle for a lot of people. And for our company as well, it was a challenging time as we were catering to the Latino community in Spain primarily. And a lot of the community was out of work or was going back to their country. So it was a challenging time, but little by little, as my dad was saying, you know, we've built a great team here, and our brand is very well known in the United States, but in Spain, even though we started our factory here in Seville in 1974, my grandfather and my dad started it. But that was just exporting olives and olive oil. So now this is the first time we're in Spain, selling to the Spanish communities, selling to the Latin community here. So the brand wasn't as well known as it was in the States. So it was the challenge of how do you take, basically starting from scratch and making the brand known here. And it was little by little, building a team, improving our distribution, getting our way into the supermarkets, which was an initial challenge for us in the United States when we were there, was going from the bodegas and the little stores around the corner, but mainstream into the supermarkets. That was a huge deal for us. We first broke that barrier. So here we kind of broke that barrier as well already. We're in all the major chains in Spain now. And from Spain, we're also exporting to all different European countries, and also to Africa, to Asia. So it's been a success story here, but it hasn't been one day to the next. It's been, you know, 1 year we grow 10%, and over the last 10 years, we've been growing double digits growth every single year. And then you look back 10 years and you're like, oh, we've quadrupled the size of the company. So even though you start from like a humble beginning, just as my dad was saying, working hard, building a good team. And Elias runs the day-to-day here. Maud is in charge of marketing. And she does a great job marketing our products to the Latin community, which is very diverse. A lot of people don't understand that. They think Latins are all homogeneous the same, but every Latin country has their own cuisine, their own vocabulary, their own culture. So it's being able to market your products, have authentic quality products, the right products to each community. And that's what we pride ourselves on, is having the right product for the right community. So we have Mexicans who see Goya as their brand. We have Colombians that see Goya as their brand because we have the right authentic products for those communities. I think that differentiates us from a lot of other companies that could just be, like Tex-Mex or something like that. It's just kind of not authentic Latin product. So I think
so much. So tell us about Goya Cares. A lot about it. So.
Well, we two things. First, we set up for it, because we've always been involved in the community. Things that happen, I mean, recently in Morocco, right now, we're looking to send food over there. It's gotta be halal, it's gotta be, sensitive to those people. But we've always tried to be part of, share in the joys and the tough times of our community. And so trying to put that under one banner. On the other side, with Goya Cares, and in the United States, there's I met, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Several years ago, I met this actor, Eduardo Verástegui. He's a Mexican actor and producer, and he did a movie back then called Bella. He's done other movies, and then I ran into him at the White House several years ago, and he was talking about this guy, Tim Ballard, who goes in and says it's trafficking thing. It's trafficking in drugs. It's a over $250 billion business. It's one of the biggest industries in the world. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of the profit motive is behind a lot of, a lot of the crazy stuff that's happening. As you may know, people are pouring over the U.S. border every day. This year alone, there's been 85,000 children missing, and I'm talking, we talk about babies and young kids. They're brought in almost on an assembly line. They're enticed to come in. People sell, or even sometimes sell their children, and they're handed off to sponsors in the U.S. that, quite honestly, some will abuse these kids and exploit them. So I was not aware of this. It's like, I'm in my bubble and we're selling beans and stuff like that. Big part of our business. By the way, as we say as Latinos, we're united by language, but we're separated by the bean. So if you're from Peru, you want a canary, and from Colombia, cardamomo, bean. My favorite, my Puerto Rican compliment. Back to seriousness. So being aware of this incredible evil, if you will, and a lot of it happens here, in Barcelona and Madrid. It's pretty sick, and I think it's a great place. I love Spain, love Madrid. I lived a few years in Seville, but it's a tough world out there when we're not caring for our kids. And so having seen this and being aware of it, now hey, you got to do something about it, because so we've gotten together with organizations, and so what we try and do is bring awareness to this. The film Sound of Freedom was Dead in the Water. It was owned by 20th Century Fox. It was purchased by Disney. Disney didn't want anything to do with it. And it lay there fine. We helped bring it out of the darkness it was in and obscurity. And Angel Studios came along. It's a US-based firm that has the series called The Chosen, and so they took this movie and they brought it out into the open. It launched July 4th. It's sold about 20 million tickets. It beat Indiana Jones, called Geriatric Jones, on the first. Geriatric Jones was a $295 million movie, and they flopped. And that was owned by Disney, by the way. Mickey was not very happy that they owned Sound of Freedom and let it go. It beat Mission Impossible for a couple times, but now it's #1 movie in 17 different countries, Mexico, around the globe. It's beheading here also. And so, being aware of this thing and not doing anything about it is not acceptable. So what we did was create this Goya Cares. It's not a charity. It's basically we take from the gift of our success, and we just bring people together that are doing really good things and helping take care of these kids and make awareness for these, have awareness of the problem. So that's where Goya Cares.
So you mentioned a little bit of the painting. Is that your favorite for your product, or what would you say is your favorite?
Like I said, we have, from what Bill mentioned before, you have to be authentic. And, there's so many cuisines and so many great cuisines. And now in Spain, you have, Colombian, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Cubans, Mexicans, everybody. And so each cuisine is slightly different. And so we're changing somewhat the cuisine in Spain is fabulous. We come over here, not so much to work, but to eat. You can tell. Heavier than the picture. I don't know. Yeah. But so you got to know what we knowing your market. You got to know your consumer, and you have to be, like Bill says, authentic. And the nuances. If you're from Nicaragua, you're from El Salvador, you're from Central America, you're gonna like a frijol de cera, which is a small something. It's a small red bean. If you're from Colombia, you want a cardamanto bean. If you're from Venezuela, you're calling a black bean a caraota. So it's part, and a lot of our business is that, but we have, like they're saying, 2,500 items, and Joe here has handled most of that, has created most of that by knowing the consumer. And Joe is somebody who studies the market, and that's what we live. So you can't not go to, you can call a bean a frijol, an habichuela, a poroto, or a caraota, different things. So you can't go into Miami where there's a Cuban market and call a bean like an habichuela in Puerto Rico, call habichuelas, and a pink bean is big in Puerto Rico. But you go and sell it to Cubans and Venezuela and Colombians, you call it an habichuela, you're missing the mark. So you got to know your consumer and be authentic and be smarter than your competition.
Sure.
For your encouraged to participate in this way, not yet for their certificate. I was talking to Bill before, and I think it's great if you could share with all of us a little bit about your internationalization plans. I mean, a little bit about where you are, and the plans for the future, and also if you're trying to put this about Latino that we're talking about, if you have in mind other targets.
Sure. As I mentioned before, we're a lot smaller operation here, but we've been growing every year, and we've quadrupled in size in the last 10 years. And part of that expansion has been into our external markets here in Europe. So the biggest Latin community outside of Spain is in Italy. So it's been our first export market. We started with one person in our export department. Now we have 3, and we use Madrid kind of as our base to service these other countries. So when there is products that people want, we're selling from our warehouse that we have in Madrid, or we try to do a lot of times to have the best cost in these markets is to have it shipped direct from our factories. So we have factories in the United States, we have factories in Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So shipping direct from the factory to these external markets is the most advantageous way for you to have the most price competitive product on the shelves. So, our first strategy is to go after the Latin consumers, but as it happened in the US, we crossed over into the general market, The same thing is happening here in Spain. We try to, we advertise, we have advertising to Latin communities, but also we want to make sure we're included on the Spaniard as well, so that they can try our products. There are products that coconut water, nectars, things that anyone would try. We have a product called Bilbo, which is like salt, pepper, and garlic, which is consumed by a lot of people. So we have a lot of products that can cross over. So it's twofold. We try to service the Latin community while also trying to get to the more general market. And in Europe, that's a challenge too, because there are countries that really don't have a lot of Latin communities. So you're really just going after the general market. So it's identifying the products we want to go in there, having the right product to go into those markets. So it's little by little, and we keep growing. And the biggest strategy we have is to gain enough volume in these countries so that we can sell direct from our factories, so that we can have the best possible price in those markets.
Yeah. I would like marketing wise, how does it work when you have like product, for example, the beans, but in all Latin America is like whole different. You want to like introduce, for example, like in Spain or in the United States, but you have like so many different like groups of nationalities and everything, or even people that is not native or people that don't know the product, how does it work?
Joe here is our VP of marketing and all things. I don't know if he wants to go into more specifics, but in general, it's just, as my dad was saying before, trying to be authentic.
We first identify the group that you want. And by knowing that, you know which variety of bean. Then taking it further, if you call it frijoles negros, or if you thinking for Cubans, fine. But you have to modify the language, even though it's the same product, and you may have the same recipe for Venezuelans because they want to call them caraotas. So you have to be aware, and by the ability of multi-language or multi-titles on the label, you don't leave someone out. So you could have it on one side, English and Spanish, the other side, English and Spanish, but perhaps using the Venezuelan term versus a standard frijol negro. The other part is on the label, if there's room, again, depending on the product, you may give a cue by offering a recipe, and the recipe immediately gives you who the target market is, or let that group know that we know what they like, what they do, and at the same time, you can cross-market it, because on that label, a part of saying the black bean, you can say, well, use adobo, use sazon, use this, use other things, and it also gives authenticity to the company that, wow, they really know how we prepare it, how to make it, and there's hints here of how we can make it easier. The evolution of different products also is important. For example, one version I always use, well, two quick ones. One, plátanos maduros, plantains. For those who know how to make them or have seen them made, you usually wait until it's ripe enough. My wife is Cuban. My father-in-law was part of the package when we got married, and he took care of the cooking. So I would get home sometimes, and I say, "Don't ask him, will we have plátanos maduros today?" "No, it's not ready yet. Maybe tomorrow." Laura comes by, it already got too old. We can't use it. What it's going to do, creates a perfect plátano maduro in a tray that you can microwave or pan fry, and you have instant gratification. You don't have to wait. You can have it anytime you want. It gives freedom to have more free time to do other things. Another quick example is the evolution of beans, regardless of which variety. Most immigrants, particularly those with economic issues and more traditional as they come, will take dry beans, soak them overnight, the following day, then they would begin the recipe. What did Goya do? Well, put it in a can. You don't have to wait to soak them. And also, if the following morning you wake up, I don't want black beans, I want red beans, you don't have to throw the other one. Well, you never throw them out, but you are frustrated because you didn't get what you wanted. go further. We have a red label, which is that bean, but already condimented with garlic, pepper, olive oil, seasoned to perfection. What does that do? It allows you to continue the tradition without having to spend 4 or 5 hours preparing it. The idea is, how do you make traditions conform with current life? Again, looking at the immigrant community as an example. First generation may have the luxury of having a family, plus maybe an aunt or a grandmother who can take care of all that stuff for you. Then as both the partners are working, you don't have that much free time, but you still want to have the traditions and you want to be sure you're giving your family a good meal and respecting tradition. Also, what ends up happening, everyone may say, okay, yes, these are the famous dishes from Guatemala, from Mexico, from Cuba, Puerto Rico, wherever. And we can only really spend time on them on the holidays or somebody's birthday or Christmas or New Year's. What Goya does in many instances is provide these items ready-made, because you end up having 2 incomes, kids, school, after school. When do you find the time? And another aspect, which is someone may say, yes, I know how to make all those things. I was taught, but I'm not spending all that time because I have other requirements or other business things to take care of. Goya allows tradition to continue and flourish, and everyone respecting their heritage.
And I might add to that, Joe's senior vice president, Miguel vice president of the company in the States. We have a very sophisticated marketing tool. So with 2,500 products, it's a portfolio that covers all of our consumers. But you got to look at the demographics. We go into neighborhoods. You look at the demographics, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, it's changing all the time. So it's not having the product, knowing your consumers, and you can target them by knowing the demographics. A lot of companies will ship to their store warehouses. They don't want to. They're not going to handle 2,500 products. They're lucky to handle 45. So how do we get around selling to a Walmart, selling into a Mercadona, although Mercadona just Marca Blanca, their private label name, a Carrefour? How do you sell to these people? Your great portfolio, this enormous portfolio of all these products going to all these different consumers. Well, we do is we take on our own distribution, which is expensive. We have a system called DSD, direct store delivery. So we have brokers that are on the street and they know the neighborhoods, and they go, okay, in this store we have a program, we want these products. In this store we have in this neighborhood we have this demographic and we need these products. So then they'll place the order. Today we will combine all the orders in our different distribution centers around the globe, mainly in the U.S. And put that order in the system called RoadNet, which puts takes your order and places it in different delivery orders and all that. And then we deliver the next day. So, that's very efficient. We have a very sophisticated distribution system, again, which is, it's expensive. It's cheaper to send a truck to a store, but you're not going to, by having a portfolio that's going to go into each neighborhood with the products that they're looking for, it strengthens your brand. If you go to the store just with your biggest sellers, it's the 80-20 rule in marketing, right? 80% of your volumes and 20% of your products. So that only cheapens, cuts down your margin, and then you're just competing with commodities, basically. We have products that are not huge sellers, but they're important enough that you make that connection with the consumer. Say, you know, Goya, it has this product, La Coche or Palitos or whatever. And so they understand us, and then we can put those products on the shelf. A lot of people pay slotting allowance. You know, I'm going to pay you to put my product on the shelf. But we go direct to the consumer, so the consumer's demanding it. Say, hey, look, we're going to bring traffic into your store with products that the consumer's looking for. So we don't have to pay blackmail to get it in. Sorry.
Well, now that you took a little bit more like the product development and like the placement itself, but let's know a little bit more about where like the raw materials of it come from. I mean, not where it's from, but the quality level that it needs to get into Goya, and how we control that coming from so many different places and having to distribute so many people and having so many different products.
Yeah, well, first, CS Goya, then it gets its own. It's got to be good, but it's got to be authentic. And we bring products from all over the world. Mostly your beans, for example, and are grown in a bean belt across the United States, from New York, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, Colorado, Idaho, over to California. The majority of your beans, black beans, pinto beans, which is actually that's the 1-2 punch. The biggest crop in the United States, the pinto bean. The next is black beans. It wasn't always, but black beans are consumed by Cubans, Venezuelans, Brazilians, Mexicans, and so it's a product that's used by many. So we bring those products, but also in Central America, you have the frijol de cera. In Mexico, you have a mayacola bean. In Peru, you have a canary bean or frijol canario. And in Colombia, you have a cardamanto and things like that. So, and then we bring in products from all over the world, from aloe juice from South Korea, coconut water from Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. We make our own in the Dominican Republic. We crack our own coconuts. We make coconut cream, coconut milk. We make all these products from local productions. A lot of it, the tropical fruits, mango, guanabana, guava, papaya, all these products. So we have factories at the source where we're sourcing all that, and otherwise it's coming from across the world. What happened during COVID with the supply chain crisis, and we happen to have we kept working. You know, we were called an essential business in the United States when they shut everybody down. But work is essential. Work is purpose. And so we were working around the clock. We did extremely well because we were the only one out there in many cases. And because we were successful and were working, we were also able to donate a lot of food. In that year, you know, I went to the White House to offer 2 million pounds of food. We ended up donating 4.5 million pounds of food to food banks, food into Venezuela and to other countries, because, you know, we were working. But, for example, a lot of business run strictly on money, right? Just in time inventory. If the product takes 4 days to get there, you have 5 days inventory. But we were carrying more. I saw kind of the food prices coming, and it enabled us when this thing hit, you know, to keep running. And luckily, there were enough businesses out there to help us keep running. But Thailand, for example, coconut water, we would bring in normally, it would take 6 to 8 weeks to bring in a container, 1,300 cases of one particular product, $1,800. per container. Do the math, it's $1.40. Now, during COVID, you want this product, that the hundreds of ships off the coast of California could not come in. There was a shortage of containers. It went from $1,800 to $18,000, $20,000 a container. Now, do the math with $14, $15, $16. And if you're making in the food business a couple percent at the end of the day, 50 cents, let's say, on a case, because you have to be efficient. You know, you can't just, and that's why we have all this level of sophistication in systems. You got to be efficient. But when the price of a product goes up $10, $14, $15 a case, you know, you've got to change your price. And then, you know, why don't you hold on? Why don't you keep the price the same? Well, I still want to live because this is still be in business. So, you know, we're sourcing from all over the world. The supply chain COVID crisis has popped up rates beyond belief. They've come back down. Now they're what, $6,000 a container out of
4,500.
4,500, but it's not 1,800. It's 4,500. So all these things, these factors, what's been very complicated over the last few years has been COVID and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, we're supposedly an essential business, but work is essential. And I see it as it was a war on the working class, putting restaurants and a lot of businesses. There's businesses here. We used to go to a place down the road, San Saloni, a nice Michelin restaurant. That's gone. A lot of restaurants in Spain gone because they were put out of business. You don't, you know, you're going to stay in your bunker and not do anything. And by the way, when you're staying in here, people got sick. We were working, we were good, you know, we kept distance, we sanitized and all that stuff. But so part of, and I tell you what, if you're a big conglomerate, you're going to be running just-in-time inventory. You're going to be running on all the metrics, right? But what we did was entrepreneurial. We had a sense where food supply was coming, and we stayed working with courage. That's not part of the bottom line. That's part of you, and that's what makes a difference. You know, if you want to be successful, you know, yes, look at all the metrics. You got to be efficient and all that stuff, but you know, you got to have that drive and fearlessness in you. Take risks and you'll be successful.
We only got time for one question, unfortunately, because it's only one, so.
The Bill talks too much.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's gonna be one-on-one, okay, for each one of you. Okay? Bill.
Yes.
You've been in Spain,
Yes.
and I'm sure you miss good bagels. I think, you know, like doing the other way around, Goya, going to the US, bringing the Spanish thing, bringing a good bagel to Spain.
Well, luckily Spain's cuisine is so good and that you don't miss it as much, but there are definitely certain things that you miss. From I grew up in New Jersey, right next to New York, and we're known for our pizza. Pizza's very good in New Jersey and New York, and also our bagels.
Yes.
So a ham, egg, and cheese bagel in the morning is a very indulgent, typical breakfast that
Badly
you
missed.
can't get here.
Badly missed. So you have a beautiful opportunity there. And you are my hero now, my biggest hero. Because I teach business ethics and I'm really got into the sound of freedom. So I wanted to ask you if I can mention that you have been sponsoring that, because for me those are the angels. About some people I was not aware, and I was horrified, and so good that you are involved in that. And speaking about business ethics, I love so much about your message about giving back to the community. They are thinking about the future, working. Another thing about business ethics, which is so important now, is employment. How well do you pay your employees? If you have internships, are they paid? Because those are very interesting things, I guess, for our students in the future.
I mean, we do internships and, you know, as far as pay, you have to, you have to be competitive.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a union in, New York, but really, if you pay a fair wage, you don't really need a representative to take commission out of that wage. So, for example, in Texas, I'll give you an idea. Let's say the minimum wage was like $8.75 or something like that back when, but if you're in a warehouse, you're making $8, $10. All of a sudden, and we have next to us, because we're on I-10, Interstate 10, which runs from Jacksonville, Florida to LA. And this is, I'm talking about the Texas facility, which is production and distribution. You have Amazon across the street, they're paying $18 to $20 an hour. But you gotta produce so many boxes in such amount of time. Any warehouse work, for example, is in that range, 17, 18. So, if you're not paying that, you know, you're not, you don't have people. And so, so we always try to pay a fair wage. At the same time, you know, we have what we call the Goya family. So we're big partiers, okay? So we'll be back in December for our Christmas party in Madrid and in Seville. But we get together as a family. And so it's not just about your salaries, but creating an environment of family. You know, I can't be, or Bill, or any of us here, undercover bosses, because we're talking with everybody, we're sharing in the joys, the births, the deaths of the people that are part of our family. And so, and that personal touch, you know, and caring for this family. You know, the wage, of course, is a big part of it. But we can try to create an environment where there's caring, loving, and a sense of purpose and success that you know becomes a part, and then that is a huge factor.
One of the hallmarks of Goya is our employees stay working for Goya a long time, so we have a ton of employees.
Like Joe's been here too long. 1974, he came to work in Brooklyn, and Miguel's been here many years also. Came in 1974. That's what, 49 years.
In 3 weeks, it's 49 years.
49 years in the company. So,
That's the best demonstration.
And to your question, interns do get paid.
Listen, interns get paid. Have you heard?
So you mentioned that a lot of your products are based on how you focusing on working class continuum when you mentioned that, so that they don't have a lot of time. And you mentioned that you're raising prices a lot of them. Don't you think you alienate some of your, you know?
the problem is, like, for example, we make our own pans also, you saw in the video. You're paying attention. Okay. So, pans went up 64% at the end of 21 into 22. Products around the globe have gone up. An average cost of a can of beans in the US went from 99 cents to like $1.40. That's, you know, we're not making any more margin. You know, you got to make a margin sufficient to make a profit, but also pay people well, and continue to invest. A factory, you know, our factory in Texas, we've put in over $120 million to keep a very efficient. We can run 15 and a half, medio kilo, 15 and a half ounce can of beans at 2,000 cans a minute. So on two different ones, 1,000 cans a minute. Very efficient. But, you know, and you have to be competitive. But we got to make a margin. You got to stay in business. If you don't upkeep your factory, if you don't pay employees, IT, your information technology, very expensive. This stuff isn't, you know, it's not. So owning a business, people think, well, you know, it's a big business. It's people. And we're trying to make an environment where we have a business which is a going concern that is going to continue to be profit. We're not looking to you know, gouge anyone. We're actually, our own people, we, you know, buy our own product, you know, we got to pay more. Cost of living is more. Yes,
More directly to a part of your point, keep in mind, others brands were under the same pressure of increasing price, but the value of Goya is the respect the community has for consumers in general, knowing that the product in the can is going to be good quality, and apart from that,
and
it will be a full can, meaning some brands lower the cost or don't raise the price, but they put less beans or less.
or downsize the packaging.
Yes.
You know,
So consumers realize that, and it is very disheartening if someone takes a can brand X, takes it home, makes the recipe they always do, and says, but before I could feed 4 people, now I can only feed 3. What happened? And the difference is the quantity of product and the quality of the product one is giving. That's the importance of Goya brand, something that it's on a bag, it's on a label, it's on a can, it's on a box, and you have the confidence that what's inside is going to be what you need.
Just to add, when we say it's Goya Tenexa Bueno, if it's good, it has to be good. Our consumers trust that. They trust the quality. So we're not going to give on quality. And at the end of the day, we respect our consumers. So we make sure that the price is fair and the quality is there. And we've done that over 85 years where the consumers trust, and that's secret to our success.
And the next part is with customers, meaning supermarket chains and whatnot. Naturally, they're trying to get the best price and keep prices stable. It's worrying about consumers. In some conversations during the height of the COVID issue and the supply chain, meetings were held and they would push back on the pricing. It said, well, this is our price. I'm sorry. This is what we have. Then the conversation changed and then, okay, we'll accept that price, but you'll guarantee we'll have product. Yes, we can guarantee we can deliver to all your stores and you will not be out. We said, good. Thank you.
Unfortunately. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you
So
all.
much.
Yeah.